Hey y'all, I'm Brooke Hoover, a Louisiana native, actor, writer, and comedian. I've lost 100 pounds through diet and exercise, or shall I say, lifestyle changes. My 20-year and counting health journey has taught me that just like taking a diet pill for weight loss, body positivity doesn't magically happen overnight. I'm working on regaining my self-esteem and rekindling my love affair with Cajun and Southern comfort food in a healthier way, all the while juggling eating as clean as I can, reestablishing myself in the entertainment industry, which, as we know, is historically fat-phobic, all the while showing my inner fat girl some love. That's fat with a PH. Pretty hot and tempting. Let me tell y'all a tale or two. I think I got to start off this episode with a little song. Do your boobs hang low? Do they wobble to and fro? Can you tie 'em in a knot? Can you tie 'em in a bow? Can you throw 'em over your shoulder like a continental soldier? Do your boobs hang low? I tripped up on the soldier part. Let's try it one more time. Do your boobs hang low? Do they wobble to and fro? Can you tie 'em in a knot? Can you tie 'em in a bow? Can you throw 'em over your shoulder like a continental soldier? Do your boobs hang low? That's what we used to sing to pregnant dogs when they would just be walking around, with their boobs kind of flapping back and forth. But have your pets spayed or neutered. Let's control the pet population. I grew up watching Bob Barker and The Price is Right, and that message always and still rings true with me. Needless to say, we're not talking about Bob Barker or The Price is Right or dogs. We're talking about boobs today. Specifically, we're talking about my boobs, which also might be the universal boob, because I think people who have boobs will hopefully relate. So it's a little bit embarrassing, but who cares? I'm in my closet with my bras, ironically. And ironically, I'm braless as usual, but with, a plethora of bras all around me because it makes for good sound padding. So I have my rosemary essential oil and I have my rose quartz, and we're ready to go because this is like a little vulnerable. So growing up, I don't know if I blame it on my body confidence issues, just plain body issues, growing up as a woman, Catholic guilt, or whatever the case may be, but I was really fearful and ashamed of getting boobs, and I got boobs much earlier than some of the other girls. And I think what really etched in my brain, what terrified me of getting boobs, I blame it on one of my favorite people. I don't know this person personally, but God rest his soul, John Hughes, because the movie 16 Candles, when Molly Ringwald comes home and her grandparents are in her room and she goes upstairs and her grandma is like, they're so perky, and she reaches, she's like, Frank, she's getting her boobies or something like that, and she's like, they're so perky, and the grandma reaches out for Molly Ringwald's boobs. Like, who does that? That is so embarrassing. Well, it kind of happened in my family, not nearly as bad. But I used to love when my second cousins would come over with my grandma, Mama, and we would, hang out at our kitchen table, and we would be making Christmas fudge, gold brick fudge, which we always made for Christmas, and pralines. And one day, we're just going to town, making that fudge and those pralines. And one of our cousins, my mom's first cousin, she looks over at me and she goes, Brooke, you're getting boobs. I was about 11 years old, and I knew I was getting boobs. Anybody who can grow boobs knows they're getting boobs. And of course, it made me do my Hunchback of Notre Dame thing that I was doing even worse. And I kind of look around like, I'm hoping somebody's going to have my back, and my Hunchback of Notre Dame. And I look over at my mama, my grandma, hoping that she would have my back, because if anyone, she was the one to always have my back. I look over at mama kind of like, deer in headlights, like, help me out. Say something like, no, she's not, or leave her alone, or it's okay, or something. And mama goes, yeah, you're right, she is. I just felt like I was so much on display, and like there was something wrong with it. I don't know. It's inevitable.
we're all going to get boobs, people who are born as female, we're all going to get boobs, and some men have man boobs. And I'm not making fun of that. I'll talk a little bit about that later, but I'm not making fun of man boobs either. I don't know why there's so much shame attached to it, and why people, women especially, have to point out other women, their loved ones, their relatives, have to point out, oh, you're getting boobies, or oh, you're becoming a woman, or oh, you're starting your period, and why there's shame attached to it. And those of you who've been listening to the podcast, those of you who know me, know that my mom is very like loud and proud and hey baby, kind of like that. But about the boob situation, my mom always, she had big boobs and she was always trying to hide them and, joke about them and stuff. So I think she understood my self-consciousness about them on a deeper level. Oh, am I fixing to cry? So she she was not there when her cousin called out my boobs. She was probably in the other room getting more butter or something. And mama always just kind of handled it how I wanted to handle it. Mama, instead of letting Jesus take the wheel or mama taking the wheel, she let me take the wheel, how I was going to kind of navigate that, because I think she didn't want to call out anything to make me feel even more self-conscious than I already did. So I just kind of kept hoping that my Hunchback of Notre Dame thing would work, where I'm, hunching over, kind of hiding my boobs, and nobody really notice. The problem was that we had to wear uniforms for school, and our uniforms were white shirts. So you could wear like a white cotton collared shirt, or a white kind of button-down collared shirt. So obviously we know white, you could kind of see through that more than you could see through, thick navy or black. But I worked the system a little bit. So you could wear a white collared shirt, but you could wear a turtleneck underneath it, white or navy. So even in like 90-degree weather in Louisiana, heat and humidity, you got heat and humidity in like March, please. It's like you're sweating your I would say your boobs off, but yeah, you're sweating your boobs or your butt off. So I would wear these turtlenecks. And that was a lot to deal with, because I'm sure people were looking at me like, why is this girl like sweating profusely, hunched over, wearing a turtleneck, and it's 90 degrees outside with 100% humidity. Later that summer, I was either turning 12 or 13. So my boobs are getting a little bit more in full effect, if you will. We befriend this girl, and I think she's so cool. Looking back, I think in my head, she looked like Lady Gaga. So her name was Nicole. She may or may have not have been in the mafia, and I thought she was super cool. So we're at our house in North Carolina, where we went every summer, and Nicole starts talking to me one day, and she's like, yeah, you're big summer, you're turning 12. I remember that. She's like, yeah, you got boobs. You got to like get a bra. And like, she like just kind of ripped the Band-Aid off. And she was like, look, I wear like these things. And she was like very like just free and body positive before it was a thing. But then again, if you look like Lady Gaga, I guess it's very easy to be body positive. It should be easy to be body positive no matter who you are. But again, society constantly tells us who and what and how we should be and look like. So, again, it's hard for the average Joe or Jane or the average Brooke or the average fat girl, but none of us are average, y'all. We're all above average. Needless to say, Nicole's like talking to me, and my mom's around Nicole, and I think mama is seeing that Nicole's kind of getting through to me a little bit, and I'm looking up to Nicole, that she's a cool girl, she's got some cool clothes, and she's just kind of wearing like these white tank toppy things. They're from Express, and they're cute. They have like these little branding things on the bottom of them, and she like literally takes one off. She has a bra on underneath. So she's like wearing almost two bras, and she hands me one, and she's like, I have another one almost just like it. I'll bring it back to you tomorrow. So I start wearing these random tank top things that Nicole has given me from Express. And my mom can tell I really like them. And while my mom never quite gave me the bra talk, or the boob talk or the period talk, in that sense, because again, it's uncomfortable, and she could already tell I was uncomfortable about it. So, to anyone out there who might knock a parent for the way in which they're handling things, they're doing the best they can, and they don't want to upset their children. They're reading the room. Let's put it that way. Like, why am I fixing to cry? But my mom was always very good about reading the room. Maybe sometimes like a little too much, but I'm glad that she handled it the way she did. Because one of my friend's moms, this was her boob advice to us. She goes, girls, don't y'all ever, if you get pregnant, do not ever, let the baby breastfeed because it will ruin your tits forever. So that was some advice I got. Some other advice I got was from my friend's mom. Miss Jeanette was her name. And this was actually wonderful advice. Miss Jeanette said, now, girls, when it's time to start getting those bras and those training bras, all right, I'm going to tell y'all a little something. The secret is not to get a white one, but to get a nude, because the white will show up, but the nude won't. And that was actually really excellent advice. My mom didn't throw advice out there like that, but she did do this. So this is before the days of Amazon. I mean, hello. This is before the days of, like you could mail order stuff, but it might take a week or two for things to come in. And we're in the mountains of North Carolina, where the nearest mall is about an hour and 10 minutes away, one way. So mom is like, y'all, let's get in the car and we're going to go down to Asheville and we're going to go look for some of these, she didn't call them bras, some of these express tank tops for Brooke. So Nicole, my mom, and I, we get in the SUV and we roll down to Asheville and we look all over. And there's like two malls, in Asheville. If that, maybe there was just one at the time. We look at Express and Mama's like, well, Limited, similar to Express. Let's look at Limited. We look there. We look at Dillard's. We look at Belk. We look all over the place. And I was very, very big on, I don't want underwires. I didn't quite need an underwire yet. I don't want lace, because lace equates sexy and girly and prissy. And I don't want that. I don't want to admit I have boobs. I want to be a kid forever. I don't want to admit that I'm becoming a woman. It's too difficult. So what Mama did was we drove around to countless stores in the beautiful mountains, but still out in the middle of nowhere in the early 90s, looking for like a needle in a haystack, because Nicole had probably gotten these express tank tops a couple years ago, because they were worse for wear, whatever the expression is, they were getting worn down. So needless to say, we find these kind of training bra tank top things by Jockey with an elastic band at the bottom, and I got a couple of them, but I never really wore them. I actually tried to cut the elastic out and rip the elastic out and just wear the tank top part, which didn't really suffice. So I get back home to middle school and I'm alternating these, at this point, really ratty tank top things from Nicole. And then one day, I'm sweating my butt off with the ratty tank top, a navy blue turtleneck, and my white collared uniform shirt, and my mom is sitting me down and trying to talk to me about, like, look, we're going to have to find some bras for you. We're going to have to figure something out. And my mom, I remember her being like, baby, I hate bras too. They are annoying and they're uncomfortable. Maybe you dance, maybe you could wear like these leotard things. And I'm thinking, yeah, that could work. And then my dad overhears us somehow, and miraculously, and he's like, Brooke, you need to start wearing a bra. And I don't know, but that really got to me, because I was like, oh my God, if my dad's saying it, that is embarrassing. So you know what, y'all? Everybody's noticing my boobs. Everybody's acting like, they're in control of my boobs. I'm going to be in control of my boobs, okay? I come from a land where showing your boobs gets you gold. I mean, not literally gold. It gets you plastic beads made in China. But, I'm from Louisiana. Mardi Gras, hello, throw me something, mister. It's because you're showing your boobs. What I did back in the day, I would just like show my fake boobs, which was my fat underneath my boobs, and I would fool everybody. So I said, you know what? I'm rebelling. Okay, Miss Jeanette had given some sound advice about not wearing a white bra, wearing a nude bra. I took that a step up. I started getting black bras from Victoria's Secret, satin, not lace, because satin, I just wanted to kind of cover it all up and wear it like a shield, like an armor. So I got navy, black, leopard. I had this, leopard, see that one? To my YouTube friends, it is the video friends. It's like a purple and pink, like leopard print bra. And I remember my favorite bra was like this hot pink kind of orchid print bra. And I was like, you know what? Everyone's going to see through my shirt and they're going to see I'm wearing a bra, and it's a fierce bra. You know, surprisingly, no one complained. They complained about me wearing my Birkenstocks at school, but nobody complained about seeing my bras. So who knows? So it finally became a thing. It finally stopped becoming a thing, and it really should have never been a thing to begin with. But it was a thing. Because again, society makes it a thing. I'm not blaming it on my family members. I'm not blaming anyone. I blame society because it's easy to blame like a whole group, but it's not even just a whole group. It's just, you know, it's history. It's kind of like in the DNA, if you will, that boobs are a sign of womanhood, and womanhood is something to be proud of, but it's also something to hold shame to. And also, you should hold shame if your boobs are too big. Ooh, you're too sexy. Oh, but if your boobs are too small, are you not sexy enough? Oh, but if your boobs are too small, you should get a breast implants. But they look too fake. Oh, and then men. What about men who have boobs? Men shouldn't have boobs. Oh, and what about breastfeeding? You know, God forbid somebody's breastfeeding. Ooh, that's offensive. Whereas in foreign countries, I say foreign countries, I don't mean every single foreign country. I mean, many cultures, boobs aren't even a symbol of sexy. They're a symbol of milk. Like, we're feeding our babies. So get over it, people. What is your big thing? You know, I spent also several months and weeks at one point getting the best knife possible, a Cutco knife, because Cutco was that brand that they sold door to door back in the day. I got a Cutco knife that we had in our kitchen before dance class. I used to try to cut off my boobs, and I was like an honors student. I was pretty smart to know that you cannot lob off your boobs, especially before dance class. Like, hello, you're going to bleed to death. But it's like enough's enough, you know? Nowadays, I'm not ashamed of my boobs at all because I'm like, whatever, you know, like, they're boobs. Until one day, I have an acting gig, and it's for this product. It's for a product called the Terrible Towel. Not terrible as in you're terrible, Muriel, but like the towel tears, and you can like put the towel on and off after a shower. And it's like this random gig out in the middle of New Jersey. And the producer, like, I couldn't wear a bra, obviously, because, you know, it's a towel that's, you're modeling. And she's like, oh, Brooke, kind of like rub your boobs a little bit. I was like, excuse me? And she's saying this in front of a bunch of crew, which, you know, a bunch of dudes, if you will, a bunch of like bro dudes at that. She's like, yeah, your nipples are showing. Kind of rub your boobs, rub your nipples down. And I remember calling my manager, like, and telling him, like, what is this? Like, I wanted, again, like I had done with my mama, with my grandma, wanting some sympathy, some empathy. And my manager just laughs at me. And perhaps it was comedic, and it is comedic now. But again, there's just such shame still associated with that. Needless to say, I don't ever know what happened with that towel commercial. I don't really remember that. I just know now that I have hit the big 40. Oh, God forbid I just said my age. Ooh. So I've hit the big 40 and I've lost weight. Usually your boobs are the first place to lose weight, right? So yes and no, that kind of did happen to me, but now I'm just working on all these years of being ashamed of having boobs. And now that my boobs have kind of deflated a little bit, I'm just working on making them not sag. You know, I've been doing like side planks and a lot of arm exercises, chest exercises, chest presses. I can even do that thing like those men do. Maybe AC Slater does it, where you kind of like make your pecs jump. Because after all those years of wanting to hide my boobs, now I don't want my boobs to go away. I think we'll leave it at that. I don't have a better ending spot than that, other than to say, friends, you know, if I have friends listening, or, you know, fellow listeners who I don't know yet, who are potential friends, if you have a child who is of that certain age, navigate it very, very gently. because boobs and body and growing up and becoming a person who you're meant to be is never anything to be ashamed of. Now, I think maybe I got to go wipe some boob sweat off. Thanks for listening, y'all. Bye.
Thanks so much for listening, y'all. It is my hope to inspire, uplift, and entertain you with this Who's Dat Fat Girl podcast. So, if you're hungry for more, you can book me to speak or perform my solo show that inspired this podcast, Fat Girl Costumes, written by yours truly and directed by Brian Lady at your virtual or in-person event. Please visit brookehoover.com/fluffybuttproductions or email me at contactbrookhoover@gmail.com for more info. And let's follow each other on Instagram. I'm at Brooke Hoover, and the O's in my name are not the letter O, they're zeros. Not because I want to be a size 0, but because I guess I'm just so clever with my late 90s Yahoo self. And if you like this podcast, which I really hope you do, please give me a 5-star rating and write a review on Apple Podcasts. And most importantly, share this with your friends, family, and other people you may know who are as fat as we are. That's fat with a PH.